Hello, everyone, for one more series powered by Adraas Realtime Environment for Dispute Resolution. Today's session on ADR revolves around a very contemporary topic of artificial intelligence. To quote Ginny Rometty, some people call this artificial intelligence, but the reality is this technology will enhance us. So instead of artificial intelligence, I think we will augment our intelligence. So that's one way of looking at AI. Today, we have a very distinguished personality from the field of ADR, Girija Krishan Varma, a veteran in the field of ADR and a certified member from many international institutions. She is an arbitrator, a mediator, an accomplished legal professional specializing in ADR and intellectual property. As a mediator, she has successfully resolved over 200 cases showcasing expertise in ADR across cross-border transactions, IP, commercial issues, infrastructure, and construction disputes. She is certified by international institutions as an arbitrator and fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrator. Her experience in commercial, telecom, construction, IT, government tenders, and cross-border disputes are noteworthy. As a dispute resolution lawyer, she excels in early neutral evaluation and handling litigations. The US consulate has acknowledged her to be a certified board member. Now, without further wasting any more time in going through other discussions, I want to divert and sap on the maximum information that I can get from ma'am. Ma'am, good morning and welcome once again.
Good morning. Thank you very much for this opportunity to Adraas to give me to speak to you today this morning. Thank you.
Ma'am, our show is watched by a cross-section of the society. One very basic question that people ask is, what is artificial intelligence? How do we define it? And as far as legal professions are concerned, the question is, how does it apply to the field of arbitration?
So actually, there is an IT definition for AI, which is it is a utilization of advanced technologies, machine learning, algorithms, and natural language processing to assist in various tasks. John McCarthy, a computer scientist, defined AI as making a machine behave in ways that would be called intelligent if a human were so behaving. I would say that in broad terms, it's a computer with intelligence. And having used this AI to some extent, I would say that it is, for me, like a sophisticated secretary, a highly capable secretary and a paralegal. So that's how I would define it. And I would restrict my use to that usage.
And how do you think that, such an important aspect that you mentioned as the secretary? So if I, transplant the word, how does it really work in the field of arbitration then? Does it perform the duties of the tribunal secretary or something else?
Well, it does assist in many ways. Like a secretary and also not like a secretary. It can do some more sophisticated jobs. Actually, ultimately, I think it's entirely up to the user how to use AI technology and to what extent they allow AI technology to intervene into their tasks. It's entirely up to the user. Some of the key areas that we've seen in arbitration that this is used is in transcription and translations. It has been a big success there. In editing and summarizing of documents and contract review, in legal case law research and research of judgments and case law and points of law. It's also been a success, I think, in managing online dispute resolution platforms and processes. In some cases, internationally, we found that it has been used for case predictions, where the AI is used to analyze past cases and the outcomes, and AI can help provide predictions of potential outcomes in a particular case. This can help, if it really happens, it can help in a case analysis and developing a strategy for a client.
So you mean to say that if we are likely to see arbitration getting, heavily dependent on AI in the future, do you think that, this AI assistance would actually streamline the process of arbitration, which now is very haphazardous, if I may, use the word. It is slightly disjointed because there are so many things happening, and the procedures are different because of the functions that we are following. Do you think that it is going to really assist in streamlining the process and enhancing the decision-making process?
Yes, absolutely right. Because the efficiency with which AI works, the accuracy with which it works, it can be a boon if rules are used in the right way. So, for example, you could be having a lot of cases that are being cited in a particular arbitration. Now, getting quick summaries of that can help the arbitrator as well as the parties. Similarly, if there are large documents that are filed, if there is a quick summarization of those documents, as well as there's a review of the contract and summarization, it is going to be far more efficient for the arbitrator as well as the parties. But I would say a word of caution, because ultimately there could be an error also in the way AI works. AI actually works on the principle of you feed in the specific points that you're researching, as well as you put in the points that you're looking at, or the information that you're trying to gather. Now, you could make an error in that, or the AI could have information coming in from any aspect, from any corner of the world. Sometimes there could be a misinformation there. So the word of caution is that you please have reviewed the documents and the information and the summaries yourself before putting it out in the arbitration proceedings.
The human intelligence cannot be discounted. It has to be always there. The person who is feeding the data and seeking the, how to tame the AI is more important than to actually start implementing the whole thing directly. If I'm not correct, if I'm not wrong, ma'am.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But there's a huge amount of investment in doing that, because there is going to be a whole lot of training that is required.
Yes.
There's a whole lot of technology behind it. There's software, there is hardware. So there is a huge investment, but I think the investment will be worth the while if it can increase the efficiency of the arbitrator as well as the parties and the entire arbitration process.
This could be of interest to the students who are actually listening to this, that there is a very distinct vertical which is coming up in the field of law, which could be categorized as techno-legal, or something related to technology, not per se in practicing part, but probably in facilitating all these things, because AI may know how to do it, but you require someone with a legal background to tap this AI to bring forth for the success of an arbitral proceedings.
Yes, you're absolutely right, because I think AI augments the arbitrator or the counsels in their arguments, in their analysis. It augments that, but it cannot replace a legal professional. And AI cannot replace the award written by an arbitrator, because an arbitrator's award is reasoned award. So an AI cannot replace that. Correct. But it definitely does augment the processes for an arbitrator.
Moving on to the next question, ma'am. When we've talked about the utility and decision-making part. Can you discuss with some examples where how AI technologies have been effectively used in arbitral proceedings, or maybe not even in the proceedings, but in the generally part of the secretarial part? Can you give us some examples, ma'am, for the understanding of everything?
Yes, so I have done a few cross-border transactions and arbitrations, and we've seen that AI assists in many ways. One of the simpler tasks that AI can be used is for the appointment of an arbitrator, which would be done in an unbiased manner, and it would also check for any conflicts of interest for the arbitrator. So it assists in that. We've also seen that AI can be used as a bot, which helps in communication between the parties and the arbitrator on a regular basis and on the administrative issues during the arbitration proceedings. And it streamlines the process according to that. It also, as I said, it helps in contract review and summarization of documents. It's been used for translation of documents as well, and translation from different languages around the world into English. And in India, we've seen instances where where the Supreme Court has been using certain software to
Yes,
to
yes,
translate English case law into vernacular languages,
yes, yes.
9 vernacular languages. So those are done through technology. And I think that has been a great help, because now around the world, people around all over India, people can read all the judgments of the Supreme Court and understand them better.
What a
And some of
wonderful
the
example, ma'am. Wonderful example. I mean, one thing that I can understand is that if, especially in arbitration, it has got a relevance because of the cross-border or international arbitration, where there are cultural differences related to language. AI could be a very big, bridging moment where it helps people, to overlook and overcome this handicap of language with the help of AI.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a very helpful tool in both cross-border mediations and arbitrations.
Correct.
Yes.
Moving forward, ma'am, uh, uh, what are the trends, of AI utilization in, I would say, in arbitration globally, ma'am? I mean, since you are into this particular domain, how do you think is the impact of AI globally, ma'am, in the practice part? Is it widely
Well,
accepted?
I think it is there. AI is here and it's going to stay. So there's no two ways about it. But we see that it's been used on international platforms a lot. As I said, for arbitrator appointments, for many other tasks, it's for used for case summarization. It's been used for contract review, and it has also been used in smart contracts, where it enhances enforceability of the terms and transfer of rights through AI technology. So that helps enforcing of the smart contract very efficiently. Some of the issues that we've seen that have arisen here is that there are confidentiality issues which need to be thrashed out. There are cybersecurity issues. After all, it's an AI algorithm, so it is subject to hacking as well. So governments around the world have to be conscious about this and build in systems which address cybersecurity issues. Um, and also, in case there is an error that enters into the system, in an arbitration, for example, that error could continue till the end of the arbitration if not addressed properly, and it could perpetuate itself because it's on the internet, and it's very difficult to remove a digital footprint from the AI world or the internet. So it could be perpetuating errors for some time. So there are things that need to be addressed there. And I think governments around the world are doing something about it.
You feel that, though the arbitration and AI are getting linked, but there are concerns, especially because data privacy is at a very nascent stage globally. If you see, it may be at a very advanced stage in certain countries, but data privacy, as you just told, is in its privacy in a lot of countries. Even we have got our own laws this year. I mean, in 2023.
Yes.
So that is a major concern for AI and arbitration.
Yes, but that has been a concern all along, whether we use the print media or we use the digital media, those issues remain the same in both mediums. The only difference is here it is a quicker way by which privacy issues could get compromised. So there are laws that are coming in. There's going to be regulatory bodies, I think, around the world that will help in data privacy issues. And ultimately, of course, it also depends on the user, how they protect their own rights.
Do you think, linked to that, how are the parties? This is something which just came to my mind. Are parties aware that the proceedings are, dependent on AI, and how is their reaction to it in any of the proceedings that you have witnessed? Are they aware? Are they very forthcoming with it, or do they have concerns about it?
I think clients do have some little concerns about the confidentiality part, but because there are codes of ethics around the world, they by international bodies and by various conventions, people are aware that that confidentiality is maintained very strictly in arbitration proceedings. So that gives some comfort to the clients. But besides that, I think because it enhances efficiency and that helps them save costs, I think clients would be willing to look at AI more enthusiastically than it's a myth to some extent that it would be a disruptor only.
This is actually a very important point that you told, ma'am, that the cost efficiency by use of AI is something to be noted, and that could be of interest to the parties as such who are involved in it. Employing a lot of people, time and money in arbitral proceedings are the key motivators of the process. If something is enhancing that, I think it is a win-win for the entire lot of people who are involved in this process.
Yes, I think around the world, actually, there are some examples in the US where AI is used as a predictive tool. So, they've been able to predict certain outcomes in a litigation. So that helps a client to develop their litigation strategy, I think, before they enter into an arbitration.
This is
And
very
that is a
interesting.
huge saving of
This is
costs.
very interesting,
Yes.
ma'am. And can you tell us something more about it? This use of, is it
Well,
very common, or is it something which is just started because of AI?
it's just because of AI now, recently, and there are very few examples. But in the US, in fact, the US Supreme Court held that, an AI assisted arbitration was found to be 79% more efficient as against 70% that was given by a court or an arbitrator. So there are such instances. There are some predictive tools that have been used, but I think those are still to come to India as yet. We've seen that in cross-border arbitrations.
This is something which I'm sure everyone would be interested and do research on, because
yes,
this is something that normally clients do ask, that what are my chances in this, and most of the time we try to give them a philosophical answer to it. But maybe predictive AI could be the answer to such queries in India also in future. Moving
and
next.
also another example. I'm
Yes,
sorry. I just wanted to give another example of saving costs. Is around the world, lawyers bill by the hour. So if earlier you would be reading every document and billing by the hour. But now, if there is a summary of the documents and it's efficiently and accurately done, the time is cut short. The lawyer's time is lesser utilized, and the billing would be lesser as well. So, I'm sure AI would be a very effective tool to use.
Ma'am, I will come to the very important and a very common question that people ask. What is the future of AI in arbitration, especially for emerging markets like India, which are who are working very hard to kind of shed the tag what it was carrying about arbitration, and is being touted as the next global center for arbitration. How do you see the AI in India, if I put it that way, AI in India?
I think AI is here and it's going to stay. Now, it is for us as to how we use it. There has been a recent report by Niti Aayog, which looked at online dispute resolution. And I think AI technologies would be expediting the process on online dispute resolution in a huge way. The Indian courts today are using e-courts. They're using online and virtual systems for dispute resolution. There are lok adalats which dispense justice through online systems. So I think that's really going to improve the efficiency in India. And in arbitrations also, there has been a little bit of an issue in the past because India has a tradition of ad hoc arbitrations, and we have yet to have an institution here. So, for an ad hoc arbitrator, I'm not too sure how they will handle AI unless they get proper training in handling AI. But I'm sure that can be overcome. Yeah, so I'm sure that can be overcome. because our arbitrators are as at par with international arbitrators. And if and the Indian government is seriously looking at India as an international hub for arbitration.
Yes.
They've invested a huge amount of money into infrastructure. We have the world class arbitrations. The Delhi International Arbitration Center is a world class center. So we have it all there. Now it is how we are going to put in AI is embedded into the systems here is what is that we need to do as the next step for India.
As I take it forward, ma'am, generally one question is the potential challenges that may arise when there is widespread adoption of AI in arbitration. This is because this is something that happens when as we can see in the case of internet also, there was a time when there was very limited availability of internet, and then it proliferated across, and everybody is a digital native. Suddenly, everyone is a firstborn in the world of internet. How do you think that things are going to change when, as you told, since we are already mostly on ad hoc arbitration, and how long it will take to shift to the institutional system is not known. With this as a background, AI arbitration, how are things going to be?
Well, one of the issues that I see potentially, which is going to be a very important issue, I think that we would have to look at, is that in case there is an error in the arbitration, who would the liability fall on? Will it be on the arbitrator? Will it be on the AI system? Will it be on the councils? Will it be on the institution? That's a very big question, I think, to answer as to where would the liability lie if there was an error. Because around the world now, if you see, doctors are liable under the Consumer Protection Act. Lawyers are liable under the Consumer Protection Act in case there is a deficiency in service. So in case this was to arise, how is this going to be tackled? Is the liabilities, who is going to be pinned with the liability of any error that occurs into the arbitration process? Is one very important and glaring question that we need to look into. Then the other things that we need to look into and which may be challenges are the regular questions of confidentialities, the privacy issues, cybersecurity. If there's a hacking of the AI system, what would happen? How would you, build in safeguards against such issues? And again, as I said, there could be some errors which creep in and they could be repeated because of the internet, and they could stay in perpetuity on the system. How would you address that? How do you monitor misinformation? Because that's a very big issue around the world. There could be deep fakes, there could be cybercrime, there could be fraud on the internet. How do you address those issues? Yeah.
That is, if I may summarize the discussion that we had so far, I see a very bright future of AI and arbitration. And in the context of India, where internet proliferation is almost, I think, 90% with everybody, and the rise of the online dispute resolution, the coming of the new Mediation Act, kind of having a section separately which talks about online mediation, I think AI is what you have been telling. AI is here and is going to stay. And I hope that it contributes to the growth of the economy, develops a very healthy dispute resolution setup, which we are looking for. And all the professionals who work in that, this is an exciting time to be with ADR and be with AI. Thank you very much, ma'am. We had a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much from Adraas.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.